We invite you to sit back, relax, and today's presentation. It is my pleasure to introduce your host for today, Moira McArdle, Leader of Marketing at MDR. Moira, you now have the floor.
And good afternoon, and thanks to everyone joining us for today's webinar, Integrate Your Summer Marketing Plans to Build Your Fall Pipeline. Pleased so many of you could join us today as we share best practices and new opportunities to use the next few months to build your back-to-school pipeline. Today's agenda will review some tried and true ways to make the most of your summer, focusing on your own customer information, as well as some new ways to expand and integrate your marketing program starting right now. We'll top it all off with a customer success story. Just a little housekeeping, the slides for this session will be available tomorrow, and you'll get an email to let you know they are ready. All of the sessions are recorded, as well as the content from a dozen or so past webinars, and they're available for download at our website, schooldata.com, so you can catch up on them in your free time. We will send you an email tomorrow to let you know when the recording is available. Also, we'll allow time for questions and answers at the end of the session, but you can start submitting your questions at any time using the question mark button in the lower right corner of your screen. Let me quickly introduce our speakers. We have 4 of them, and they all have great things to share with you today. We'll kick things off with Chuck Romans, who is a database marketing expert and consultant at MDR. Chuck led our product group for over 20 years at MDR, and during his tenure here, he was responsible for launching many product innovations, including our buyer files, our educators at home files, and analytic products that have helped thousands of customers see better results in their marketing. We'll also hear from Chris Zanicki, MDR's Vice President for Product Development. Our Chief Strategist for Interactive Marketing and has been helping customers implement and grow their multi-channel programs for over 8 years. He recently launched the industry's first display advertising solution that exclusively targets educators and expands MDR's solution suite to include the digital web advertising space. You can look for Chris at ISTE coming up the next few weeks and EdNet this fall, where he can help you find new ways to grow your business. We'll also hear from Sandy Fivecoat, founder of We Are Teachers and social media expert for us here at MDR. Sandy builds on many years of education leadership in businesses and in schools and leverages that wealth of experience in working directly to help MDR customers get the most value and sales leads from their We Are Teachers programs. Sandy always has great insight to what works with teachers and brings creative program ideas to our We Are Teachers engagements, so we're really happy to have her here today. We're fortunate to be joined by Linda Winter, President of Winter Group. Linda leads a team of talented folks in Denver to deliver successful marketing programs for leading education businesses and organizations, and just some of them are listed here on the slide. Linda will share an example of how she helped her customer make integration work. We look forward to hearing those results. To just set the context for our discussion today, it would be good to look at MDR's most recent district data on open and close dates to confirm what we're all shooting for in the back-to-school planning. Note that the majority of schools are opening sometime in August, with only 22% opening in September. The data has been pretty consistent in the last several years for opening and closings, with the majority of schools, 56% closing in May, and another 44% closing in June. Although the information is aggregated here, MDR can help you plan your campaigns to target specifically when individual districts are opening, so you can be there at an optimal time in the fall. It's interesting to note the number of year-round schools has remained at less than 1% for a number of years as well. I think we're pretty safe in saying that school is officially closed at this point in June, and I guess it confirms that we don't have a lot of time to plan for back to school, but I'm sure that's not a surprise for many of you with plans well underway. So today we have some great tips to share with you about how to keep your messages and brand in front of educators all year long, starting now. With broader access to educators through multiple channels, your opportunity to build relationships, share valuable content, and develop a pipeline for the fall are better than ever by integrating traditional direct marketing with digital marketing campaigns. We're excited to share some examples for how to do this today, and we'll wrap it up with a case study that really shows how integrated marketing can drive results at any time of year. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Chuck, and he can get started.
This is a perfect time of year to prepare for those late summer and early fall marketing campaigns. Your customer file is a gold mine of information, so using your customer file should be a top priority this summer. Let's take some tools to leverage your customers that can drive better results in the coming months. Number one, a lot of marketers simply market to all their customers in every campaign they have, whether it be email or direct mail. I mean 5 years worth of customer names or even more. And I can understand that since customers generate a much greater response in return, it's not necessarily the best approach in all cases. The customer generally returns 3 to 5 times more return on investment than prospects. However, there are segments in the customer file that are unprofitable, which can be identified and eliminated. Eliminating unprofitable segments can lift the overall effectiveness of your customer file by 20% or even more. It's the worst enemy. It can affect the customer file performance, and as in the past 2 years, we are experiencing greater volatility than ever before. In fact, there are more public school closures and consolidations in the past 2 years than there were actually newly opened schools. Plus, teacher turnover is another major factor. In this year alone, MDR has identified nearly 900,000 educators who are no longer at the same institution. So closed schools and teachers that are no longer teaching in your customer file can help dramatically reduce the number of unprofitable customer records. And we'll talk more about that later. It's always a good idea to at least once a year to review your customer records and add some missing information or enhance it to provide you greater segmentation capabilities. Some of the practices include standardizing institution name and addresses, which is fairly common, but also be sure you have the most accurate email addresses on your customer name, or in as many on your customer names as possible. That was a great channel. However, email address is also the most volatile element on the MDR database. So be sure you can validate and update your email at least once a year and more frequently if you email customers throughout the school year. It is not common for a customer file to contain 30% or more undeliverable email addresses, which equates to a very big missed opportunity. In this year alone, MDR has changed job titles over more than 1.3 million names. So if titles are important to you, be sure you update those as well, as it would take a lot of effort and an investment to acquire a new customer. So be sure to keep their information up to date, and that includes where they work. To locate customers even when they change schools, so you continue to market to them. One way to improve return on customer campaigns is to identify segments that are more likely to respond to your marketing offer than others. Reach is by far the single most important factor in determining response. However, the answer seems to be email or mail customers in every campaign, as I've mentioned before. Why reach out to the most recent customers more frequently? And don't wait for the next campaign to market your recent purchasers. Even if your product is purchased only once a year, wait to contact them next year. Contact them right away, even if it's for a thank you. They're more receptive for your next offer. Sure, your prospect is the customer who just purchased. More on the value of recency a little bit more in a few minutes. I often ask, am I on the right select to target prospects? Or select should I use to reach the best prospects? The way to find out is to profile your customers. That would be great guidance. The best practice is not simply to profile your entire customer base, but profile a subset. If there are fundamental demographic changes in your current customer database compared to previous customers, we know a lot of change that we just talked about in the education marketplace in a few years. Plus, the product line may have expanded or even contracted in recent years. There may have changed in the go-to-market strategy as well. These factors and others can cause a shift in the profile of your customers, further affects your prospecting targeting. Find out what changed. Compare a profile from this year's customers to previous year's customers. Segments are growing, which ones are performing, which were opportunities you may not consider considered. Profile is by far one of the most valuable and most cost-effective tools in the marketer's toolbox. If you have a profile recently, be sure that this is the summer you take advantage of customer profiling. There are advanced techniques that I'm going to cover to help you identify your most responsive customers and prospects, and most likely to respond and which ones aren't. RSM, I think, is one of the most powerful tools that's available to the marketer. Frequency, and monitoring strategy can rank customers from the most profitable to the least. And as I said, recency is a great predictor of response. Add to that the frequency, how much they spend, and you have a very powerful tool to set customers. And as the saying goes, all customers are important, but not necessarily equal. So why isn't the same? Use RSM to identify the top 20 or 40% of your customer base. You market to the top tier customers 2 or 3 times more frequently than other customers. Of course, it changes everything, so be sure you update the RFM scores at least annually, depending on your market strategy, perhaps twice a year, once in the summer and once in midwinter. RFM is a great tool for customer segmentation, but I don't think it's the best way to segment prospects. Statistics is the ultimate segmentation tool for customers and prospects, especially prospects. We have to go in great depth today what a statistical model can do for you. But to put it simply, modeling uses recognized mathematical processes, purchasing history, campaign history, in order to predict which prospects are most likely to respond and those least likely to respond, whether it's an email campaign, a direct mail campaign, or even through a telemarketing campaign. You use modeling. It's not your first effort. Modeling comes first. All your modeling factors in opportunity and effort. So it's not just about necessarily a response, but which is the most profitable response and which takes the least amount of effort to obtain. Marketer, a great tool to maximize the marketing budget and reduce marketing touches and ineffective marketing segments. Both FM and statistical modeling are advanced methods and should be investigated as an option once profiling and other best practices have been employed. In other words, it's an evolutionary process. So now time to prep your file with a maximum return and leverage it to improve prospect profitability. Find out the information that's at your fingertips. Which of the segments are going to produce 2 or 3 times more than average? Which of the segments are underperforming or will not perform at all? So start this now so that you're prepared for the back-to-school marketing campaigns. It's just a few weeks away, like Moira said. How do you have ideas on leveraging your customer data? Chris is going to talk to you about how to effectively use this knowledge in a couple of key marketing channels. Chris?
Thanks, Doug. Always great to hear from you. A lot of great information and some valuable takeaway tips. As we were discussing, summer is an excellent time to focus on your database, cleaning the pending missing data, and as Doug mentioned, creating predictive models that can really pay dividends. All you really needed to focus on over the summer was getting your mail plan together, getting your list over to the mail house, and getting it in shape and getting ready for the back-to-school season. Have changed. Education marketers now really have to stay connected to their customers and prospects over summer year-round, because if you don't, somebody else will. The reality is that educators are connected to their jobs over the summer like they've never been before. Even one of the ways they stay plugged in. The last time we asked the question, how often do you check your school-based email over the summer, was back in 2010. But even then, nearly 80% of teachers report checking their school-based email either daily, several times a week, or once a week, but at the least. This number has likely increased as the percentage of educators who access their school-based email via webmail, VPN, a laptop that they can take home has continued to climb over the last 2 years as well. The fact that many educators now report being able to access their school-based email on mobile devices That number now stands at 40%, and it just increases the amount of access. All is up to the fact that teachers are fact-checking their school-based email over the summer, so you should definitely consider how you can leverage email to continue to demonstrate your value and your relevancy, stay top of mind during the summer, as well as generate leads. Let's take a look at the volume of email campaigns deployed over the entire year. It represents the distribution of campaigns of about 9,000 prospecting campaigns deployed by MDR on behalf of customers during the 2010 to 2011 school year. Specifically, at the months, you can see the number of campaigns in July is the lowest volume all year at 2.4% of all campaigns. The volume, that is the number of messages sent out, is only 1 percentage point behind January's volume. That signifies that while there are fewer marketers actually deploying campaigns at this time, they're sending out larger campaigns in general. To me, is a drastic difference in the email volume deployed in August versus that in September. September getting better than double the number of campaigns sent. I think a lot of marketers probably missing a golden opportunity by not emailing more in August. Taking into account the statistic that Moira mentioned during the opening, that 7% of schools are either opening or are open in August already. That fact that so many educators are connected to their school email, I think that more marketers aren't emailing more in August. It's just a great opportunity to prime the pump for the back to the start of the school year. So taking a quick look at the email trend line by month over the last 3 years, here's a 3-year view of email campaigns sent by month. So generally speaking, the email campaign volume has been slowly increasing during the summer months. It's probably not where it should be, but it's been slowly increasing, and with the exception of July, which actually saw a slight dip in numbers of campaigns last year, but just speaking, there's been an upward trend from 2009. They say, well, I probably don't want to send email over the summer because of response rates. I'm not going to get anything for my investment in the marketing. Well, take a look at how email compares sent during the school year in terms of response rates. Now, I might suspect email campaigns over the summer are not going to perform identically to those that are sent during the school session. With an average open rate of 6%, right around 6%, 6.1 or 6.6%, that is about 2 percentage points off the average open rate compared to the rest of the year, which is generally right around the 8% mark. However, though, taking a look at the click-through rates with July in particular, it's clear that with the right messaging, with less people opening or less recorded opens over the summer, you can see some pretty solid overall response rates when emailing over the summer months. Here now are some tips for your summer email campaigns. Several slides have been focused on email specifically, but you shouldn't think about email as a standalone marketing tool. It's best when used in conjunction in a multi-channel approach, and which Sandy's going to talk about in greater detail in a moment. Educational marketers can take advantage of a number of tools during the summer, including sending direct mail to educators to their home addresses with databases such as MDR's Educator Home Database. They can also drive community engagement and generate leads via social marketing sites such as We Are Teachers. So tip number 1 is really about thinking about your summer marketing efforts in a multi-channel fashion, combining direct mail, email, social, and email advertising. All this is going to keep you top of mind and help generate leads. 2, it's about your marketing creative over the summer. This is an excellent time to do this, to take a review of what you're doing. You definitely want to change up your template. You definitely want to change up your messaging to reflect this time of year. While teachers are connected to the workplace over break, you should, in fact, take into account that they are not actively teaching. Mine's going to be in a different place. So you want to speak to them accordingly in order to be effective. Continue to offer value in your messaging, key in any email campaign, while staying relevant over the summer. Sandy's going to give some additional points and tips on this in a moment. Number 3, as Chuck illustrated in his presentation, the summer is a great time to take a look at your customer data, and this holds true especially for your email database. Now is a perfect time to audit the email addresses you have, which nowadays may be housed in one or more databases or systems across your organization. Is your marketing automation tool, your Eloqua or your Marketo or whatever, feeding information from emails, bounce information to your CRM? Are you capturing email addresses on your website or through social media, social marketing sites? And you don't have a lot of other data such as name, physical address, job title, etc. Now is the time to perform the maintenance and data appending that Chuck spoke about, specifically your email database. With services such as reverse email append and teacher track product from MDR, we can find educators who have moved from school to school and replace their bounced email address with a new one. Or you could match on your email-only addresses and append missing data fields such as school name, job title, etc. It's also a good time to identify and remove users from your email file. I continue to mail people over and over and over if they're not responding. You could group together and see if you can react the dormant with a reactivation campaign. Tip number 4. Now is a great time to review your email creative templates and come up with new designs as you head back to the school year. You don't want to go back to the new school year using kind of old and tired creatives that you have been using in the past. Your new look. How does your creative render on mobile devices? We heard some interesting stats in our last MDR webinar back in April. The number of teachers who now report viewing their school-based emails on a mobile device has shot up from single digits just 2 years ago to 40% this year. So definitely a good time to take a broad look at your email creative, ensure that your prospecting messages render well on mobile devices, and you continue to offer readers value and relevancy in all of your email messages. Number 5, this is my last email tip. You want to get creating possibly drip campaigns that start over the summer and continue right through the start of the school year. A drip campaign type of campaign consists of several emails whose message continues to build upon the preceding one. It's designed to initially provide branding or introduce product, increase product knowledge, and create relevancy and value to the reader over each successive message. You start the series of emails during the summer with more informational type of messaging. And as school year gets closer, these emails can take on more of a promotional vein and tone, and culminate with a very strong call to action right when they hit back into school and need your product the most. A drip campaign such as the one I just described also produces a good amount of data along the way. You can take a look at those educators who remain engaged with your campaign, that is, those that continue to open and click along the way, and consider those individuals to be fairly well qualified and worthy of handing off to a sales team for follow-up. Turn now to another way in which you can stay connected in front of educators over the summer. Online advertising. Advertising is a great way to make sure that teachers don't forget about you and stay engaged while you're not in school. Why? Because teachers continue to use the web, whether they're at school or not, just as you or I would. They check the weather, they read the news, they research things, they book vacation travel, etc. While it's true that teachers may be somewhat less, quote-unquote, in market during summer months to make specific educational-related purchases, display advertising or other advertising online can keep you top of mind, and as well as increase your brand and product awareness for when they do in fact become more ready to purchase or in market, and as well as generate leads along the way. We definitely know that educators are voracious consumers of digital content. On our last digital trends study, we took a look at how educators responded to the question relating to the devices they use for accessing digital content. Nearly all teachers, 99%, report accessing content via their school computer, followed by a remarkable 88% who also access digital content via their home computer. Those that also can access digital content via smartphone and tab also bring up the numbers. So you can see there's a good amount of usage across devices at home and at school for accessing digital. Here at the factors cited by educators, their motivation for going online. What are they doing? What are they trying to accomplish? And this is self-reported in our report. As one respect, using the web for direct instructional related purposes tops the list. Using for teaching in the classroom, creating and exchanging lesson plans. This is followed by for help to prepare for teaching. This is followed by conducting research and or actually purchasing educational related products. That's the next two bars. These numbers are supportive in all forms of digital marketing, trying to intersect with educators where they're accessing digital content for these purposes and get your brand and product in front of them as you move from research to transaction. Okay, this really is kind of focused on what they're doing during the school year, but this graph doesn't capture everything that teachers are doing online. This is the launch of our targeted web advertising solution that Moira mentioned at the top. We just back in March of this year, because of the fact that we can serve display advertising to confirmed educators no matter which site they visit, and higher ed, by the way. We know that educators not only go to education-related sites, they also visit many different sites for many different reasons. Teachers behave a lot like most professionals who have access to internet during their workday. They basically split their time online between work, focused on work activities online, and for personal use. Like I mentioned, they check their weather, track stock prices, make purchases, and take care of other routine duties we now associate with doing it on the web. Access a lot of local media, news sites, they stream music and play games. These types of activities are not going to cease during the summer, so there's no reason why you should stop trying to get in front of them while they're online during the summer. With that in mind, here are some tips for online advertising over the summer. One, think about using display advertising in conjunction and in support of summertime email drip campaign. The display advertising can give you both reach and branding effect, which will undoubtedly help your email drip campaign where the two might overlap in terms of their target audience. Two, you want to think where online you are targeting educators over the summer. Your media spend over the summer is probably not going to look at the same or exactly the same as what it looks like during the year when the school is in session. If you're a heavy pay-per-click search advertiser, you're probably going to see the amount of relevant keywords drop over the summer as teachers shouldn't be there searching for thick lesson plans, but they're probably rather checking things like the weather at the beach or searching for cheap flights. However, with precision targeting display solutions like MDR's web advertising, you can actually stay in front of them. We're doing these tasks, and you can reach educators which sites they're using over summer break. Number three, use the summer to build out your banner inventory, your creative inventory, or you use it to inventory and analyze your keyword spends, etc. We all know how easy it is to kind of skip these things, these important components of a digital marketing campaign when we're under the gun. When there's too much work and not enough bodies to do it. So use the summer months to build that solid inventories of banner ad creative for the back-to-school season when you're going to be busy. The success with display campaigns is oftentimes largely dependent on your creative. It's really important to spend some time and resources making sure you have a good number of banners, creatives, you can test them, and you can kind of get to those that are resonating with educators, and that you have creative to rotate in so that your campaigns remain fresh over time. Four follows kind of the tip number three in creative. It's also focused on creative. If you're using mostly static banners in your ad campaigns, you should consider building out an inventory of animated banners, either Flash or GIF, JPEG types. Studies have shown that animated banners can be very effective in catching people's attention. So, especially during the summer months, test out some eye-catching animated banner designs. Number five reminds us to step back and ensure that all of our campaigns campaigns are set up to be properly measured. So take this time now to review your campaign analytics and your measurement tools. Ensure that you have the resources and processes in place to properly manage conversion tag, pixel inventories, etc. So you're correctly assigning the right attribution to your various digital marketing campaigns. These tips, this concludes my portion of the presentation. I hope that I've given you some valuable information and some ideas for integrating email, web advertising, and social and direct mail, and etc. into your summertime marketing plans. With that, I'm going to turn the presentation over to Sandy Fivecoat, who will discuss how to use digital marketing over the summer, as well as expand on how to modify your content and tone of your summer messaging for results. So take it away, Sandy.
Thanks so much. Very helpful. I always learn so much from you. Thanks for sharing all of that. I'm going to begin with the tone issue because Chris has kind of teed that up. We're focusing tips for the summer, and of course, social media is really all about conversation and engagement, no matter when you do it. But in the summer, it's especially important to think about tone. We find teachers, especially over the summer months, really respond incredibly well to humor. I'll give you an example of that later on. And informal tones, conversational tones. They also respond well to content, by the way, that is quickly applicable, something they can print off, stick in a file, or think about using next fall, immediately applicable to the classroom. What teachers really do not respond well to, especially in the summer, are messages using social media, our digital approach, that's too heavily commercial or promotional. It's just not the time for heavy company or product-centric language. But administrators are a little bit different. It's a time of year when they're there. It's often a good time to get their attention, a time when they don't have so many distractions. But and many of them, of course, are still in their buildings, even though schools are closed. So sometimes this is a great time to just get on their calendar, get their attention digitally, to share things like research results, ideas for back-to-school planning, or to invite them to participate as a reference site for your products or to seed new products into their hands for fall trials. And you want to share over the summer, by the way, whether you're dealing with teachers or administrators, if you ask the audience to participate in a contest, a program, or some kind of online campaign, be sure they don't have to work too hard. It is the summer. And want responses to be simple, short, for maximum impact and most relevance to them. The next tip is to think about touch points. Summer is a fabulous time to really think about trying to reach customers in different ways. Especially if you're doing direct digital marketing. For many of you, your solution may in fact require some kind of committee or lots of different customer types who might make a group purchasing decision. So summer is a great time to build out a prospect database and to be sure that you have a variety of audiences in any campaign. Even if your buying prospect is an administrator, you'll still probably want to spend some time in the summer months exposing your brand to teachers who may be users of your product or who may become recommenders of your product inside their campus. So this will serve you well in the fall. This is time well spent. You can also consider a variety of social marketing programs or techniques that might add value over the summer months and reach a variety of customer types in the process. We've had great success in the summer with podcast interviews, for example, of educators who love your products or who want to share best practices about your products and how to use them most effectively. And we create this content often on behalf of our sponsors, for example, podcasts with rich video media added, and then publish them on iTunes, YouTube, We Are Teachers, and also the sponsor's own website. So summer is a great time to develop this kind of content that repurposed throughout the school year. And it's also a good time to develop blog content, whether you're working on creating maybe an archive of blogs that you can use in the fall, or you may want to spend this time contacting educators who are well-read bloggers and invite them to syndicate their content on your website. These are things you can work on in the summer as well. At the We Are Teachers website, we publish a content calendar, which we can send if you like, and we invite corporate sponsors to sponsor some of that content aligned to the calendar. And since we deploy a lot of MDR data emails to drive the right teachers to this content, this can be a very inexpensive way to keep your brand in front of educators over the summer months, and even to do a simple promotion for those educators as well. Now, the next tip has to do with what really the theme of this whole thing is about, which is an integrated approach. And we always like to remind people that social media, to be maximally effective, cannot be viewed as a silo. The big takeaway, of course, for this whole webinar is to think in terms of integrating all of your direct marketing approaches, because social media is really in itself even a multi-channel strategy. We really encourage our clients to spend summer months making sure that all of your various social media channels are well established and ready for full leverage by the fall. And to recommend not only we are teachers, of course, as a channel and landing page for some of your programs, but we also encourage you to have a Facebook and a Twitter channel at the ready. We also see, by the way, Pinterest as an emerging channel that you might consider developing over the summer. And we offer all kinds of programs to help you develop these channels, including programs that will ensure that you have plenty of user-generated content, which can, by the way, be developed over the summer, then used to fill those channels throughout the school years. Holler at us if you'd like to know more about that. We'd love to help you with that. And if you remember Chris's comment that teachers split their time, just as we all do, between professional and personal use, these personal channels can really be a good augmentation to your efforts on the more professional networks. Most of you have been already thinking about back to school and integrated marketing programs for the fall, so I would encourage you to use the summer months to think about this multi-channel approach for all of your back to school campaigns. We talked about email drip campaigns, that is multiple touches throughout the summer to drive perhaps to a fall campaign. Likewise, we recommend parallel social media drip campaigns, short communications you can use not only through email but also Twitter, Facebook, conversations on various networks to drive to a larger social media outreach campaign in the fall, which might be a contest, a grant, or some other really, a classroom makeover, some other really large promotion that you might be planning in the fall. But sure you use the social media drips during the summer as sort of teasers and build-ups to that larger fall campaign. Don't wait until the fall to announce the program. Tease your audience into the program using all of these channels throughout the summer. Many probably also have a very aggressive fall trade show strategy. Most of us in this industry do. Summer, by the way, is a great time to be active in all those conference and social websites and to begin to plant social media seeds to actually leverage the investment you're already making in time and money for those trade shows you're attending in the fall. For example, you want to run a giveaway contest over the summer and give away some kind of scholarship for a conference attendance to a big event in the fall. Or you may want to showcase those teachers who use your products really well and invite them to participate in your booth at the fall. Solicit those applications from your best teacher users over the summer months online through your digital marketing campaigns. And when teachers are thinking about professional conference participation in the fall, which many of them do over the summer, you're aligned with what they're thinking about. So media can just be a great vehicle to ensure that those fall marketing dollars are really well leveraged, an important thing to keep in mind. You also want to use the summer months to continue to build brand advocacy. It's always an important goal, whatever time of year, to keep your brand top of mind. It'll increase your open rates for emails, your click-throughs for emails, and excellent branding, of course, also creates opportunity for brand advocacy through social channels later on. Sales may be lagging over the summer because people are absent, but you can still put products in front of teachers via contests, giveaways, set the stage for brand advocacy development in the fall. So consider giveaways, free programs, travel for professional development, free trials, maybe podcast interviews with your best customers. We run programs like this over the summer months, not only for the We Are Teachers brand itself, but for our clients' brands, and we find they work really well. In the fall, you get better response rates to the larger programs that you intend to run. So branding and brand advocacy continue to be noble goals, even for the summer. All free always works. You know, these educators, boy, they love to pick up tchotchkes at conferences. They love anything free. It's free giveaways are always a great way to increase traffic to your website. But keep in mind that free doesn't always have to be products. It can be white papers. It can be interesting teaching ideas, research, anything that has great value to teachers as they are planning over the summer months. I would also caution you that what we find is 30 to 90-day free trials are really the least effective direct online marketing kind of offering. But you can still keep your brand in front of the right segment during the summer with the right free trial offer, and we encourage you to think about that as well. You want to really make sure that it works for you. It has to be consistent with what you're comfortable doing, and something that can become very viral in a short period of time. I want to give you just a quick example of something we did recently. Some of you may have even seen it if you follow us on We Are Teachers or any of the other channels. We posted this goofy poster that just really spoke to what to find interesting or humorous. And, you know, we used humor, of course, and hit on some points that generated a lot of teacher response and emotion, things like teacher conversation and cafeteria food. Those were the two most talked about pieces we got. The response was absolutely amazing. You can see that we got over 100 shares, 20,000 likes. We also about 15,000 comments on the We Are Teachers website. This we got, and by the way, in an evening, just over a few hours. And for those of you who may not realize what shares and likes mean, if a teacher posts a share, that means it's also reposted on everyone who follows that teacher on that social network. So this is an extraordinarily positive viral response. We were kind of amazed at how it resonated with teachers. And then, of course, we help you design these kinds of humorous, conversational, non-commercial posts. It's a great way over the summer to keep your brand in front of them because you are sponsoring that content. We can help you design campaigns like this. Also, follow-on campaigns that allow you to leverage the click-throughs and the audience who actually does respond to these kinds of programs, like a drawing or a free product giveaway from everyone who reposts, shares, likes, or comments on anything like this that you post, and then follow it up with longer shelf life programs. The idea is to create a contagion of activities from a conversation that is generated from a posting like this. We just posted a new thing with a chewed-up pencil and asked teachers to tell us which classroom teaching tool or method use is likely to be defunct by 2032, and we're already getting several hundred responses to that, and I think we only posted it this morning. So it's proof that teachers continue to engage online, even in lazy days of summer. So now I'm happy to introduce my colleague, Linda Winters, who is going to chat with us about a case study that sort of takes all the ideas that we've presented so far and applies them. Linda?
Hi, Sandy. Thanks. I love the humor. That's so terrific. I'm excited to share this campaign with you today. It was a campaign that was done not in the hot heat of summer like we're having here in Denver, but in the cold of a January and February winter. I'm calling this presentation today "Small is the New Big" because this campaign really was, in terms of total dollars spent, small, but the results that we achieved were really big. And I think part of the reason we were able to accomplish this for our client really has to do with the power of integrating channels and doing it pretty surgically and precisely. The program we're going to talk about today comes from WNET, and it's WNET's Mission US, which is a series of interactive games around historical topics. And the games are really targeted at middle school, some high school, but fundamentally middle school students. This is not a TV program. WNET, as you know, is a public casting affiliate from New York City. The product we really concentrated on was Mission US Flight to Freedom. I'll be a little more about the PR side of this in a bit, but one of the reviews we got said they actually made a game about slavery and it's good. Flight to Freedom is just truly an amazing product. it's gripping. The characters pull kids right in. It's role playing. It's standards aligned. It's got all the right secret sauce in this product. It is free, and for those of you in the field of marketing, you understand sometimes that it's just challenging to get teachers to try and adopt a free product as it is one they pay for. Our timing on this campaign had to be very precise, and that's not unlike what we're dealing with between now and the start of back to school. Short window, big expectations for results. So I'm hoping this is a recipe that you can look at for the summer. I have to say, it's an honor and a privilege to be able to work with a brand and an education brand, particularly like WNET. And we're also very fortunate to have a client team that said, look, we have a very limited amount of money, but an unlimited appetite for trying something new. And so that's exactly where we came in. Budget for this campaign was actually under $20,000. And for that $20,000, let me tell you some of the things that we did. We did 2 targeted emails, and again, we did use MDR data to find the social studies department chairs, and you'll see our email results when we move forward here just in a little bit. We used banner advertising in we know from experience to be highly responsive, very well-read online e-newsletters, both in the curriculum and technology arenas. We did run small space targeted print. We have a very strong publicity program, and I want to thank our PR support team at C. Bloom and Associates for helping us with part of that. We targeted the education market. We also targeted gaming and consumer markets because WNET has great outreach across the country. Gaming sites are beginning to look very hard and long at educational applications, which is exciting. Our WNET team were terrific social marketers and had used social media effectively for the first Mission US game, which those of you who know the social studies curriculum know that one was about the Revolutionary War. And then we were on to the second part of the series, which again was Civil Rights and the Civil War era. So those were the campaign vehicles that we used. Excuse me. Our results, as I alluded to earlier, our 2 emails. We did manage to achieve a 30% open rate, which really is kind of unprecedented. We were excited, but most significantly was our click rate for these emails. And as you can see here, it almost matched our open rate. But I do want to stop for a second here and talk to you about the creative, and I'm happy to share that creative with you if any of you want to talk to me. And I know that NET are more than happy to share this with you as well. This was a longer email than we normally do. We used several interactive sections within the email. The emails used the characters. We asked leading questions about the characters. And we really focused on the things teachers got when they began to adopt this program in their classrooms. Our second email ran after we had dropped PR, launched PR. And so our second email also used some of the quotes that we were receiving in our PR pickups. Altogether, there were 83 pickups in online and print publications, including a major story in USA Today. And the USA Today story was really pretty powerful and very helpful. The PR side of our campaign, which really was a joint effort between the NET team and Winter Group's team, and again C. Bloom, nearly 650,000 impressions in just 21 days, just on the PR side. We managed to accomplish an all-time high for visits, unique visitors, and then game registrations on Mission US website. And I want to remind everybody that this was, again, a really small budget, relatively tight time frame. And I think those are models we can fold over to summer and back to school prep in the August-September time frame. It was an amazing discipline to work in, but as you can see here, I think it was productive. I think when you look at this campaign in retrospect, multi-channel was really key. Our on venues where we placed not just banner ads and some animated ads. Thank you, Chris. Also some text ads, which I was really surprised pulled as well as they did, but they did pull. Our messaging was really simple and really direct. It was clever, but it was compelling, just as the product was. Again, I mentioned just a bit ago that we really did leverage the PR investment. We were fortunate because WNET has strong internal channels, and we had strong conference exposure leading up to the launch of Flight to Freedom, and our dear main character, Lucy, who you see here. I think the other thing that's really so important to remember is that we had really a remarkable product to work with and an innovative application of gaming technology to engage middle school kids in history. And so really the product was the inspiration, the messaging, and the creative were relatively straightforward because of that. So that's really the small is the new big. Our main character, as you know, in the game, in Flight to Freedom, her name was Lucy. So here at Winter Group, we call this whole campaign the I Love Lucy Show. And with that, all of us on the panel today would be happy to answer your questions. And I'm going to turn this back over to Moira. So Moira, there you go.
All right, great. Thanks, Linda, and thanks everybody else. There was a ton of great information in that session. I have a kind of related question to that ton of information is given that it's particularly related to social media, is it take to get started on something like this for a summer-based campaign, Sandy? How much time does it take to get up and running, program up and running?
Thanks, Maura. Actually, it's not at all too late, and I'm going to, of course, everything depends on how much resource you have inside your own organization, but for those, and it may vary, of course, if you have a lot of learning to do or a lot of things you have to sort out, it may be a little tricky to do it on your own. But for customers who work with us, with the We Are Teachers marketing team, we can generally brainstorm with the client, create a program in just a couple of meetings. We have some discovery questions that we use to kind of get to the heart of what you want to accomplish over the summer, and then we can usually get a company's presence up on our website within just a few days and launch a campaign typically within a 2-week window. So there's still plenty of time this summer to get something going. From our perspective, I think there's still a really viable window. And, of course, the best way to do that is to do a summer campaign with an eye toward what you're planning for the fall so that there's some opportunity to coordinate those activities and to be sure that the summer campaign sort of syncs up with your overall fall marketing strategy. And that's part of what we help clients uncover.
All right, great. Thanks, Sandy. We have a question that just came in about A/B testing on your email. Chris, maybe you could talk a little bit about how that works.
Yeah, and the question didn't specifically mention email, but A/B testing is definitely doable, and it's bread and butter. We can certainly do it here. We actually have advanced testing features built right into the email product. So right from your ECM, when you're on board and access your campaign, you can specify doing a straight A/B test, or you can specify a test and roll. That is, you add a percentage of the campaign to an A and a B, and then hold the reserve. And the whole premise around that is that you get your learning around around the A-B split. It could be 50% of the whole campaign. You apply those learnings right in the middle of the campaign and take advantage of them to the C drop, the holdout group. So you can also test A/B creatives in display advertising as well. It's kind of part and parcel of the of how display advertising generally works. I would always recommend you give us multiple banner creatives. We'll rotate them, equally weight them at the start of the campaign, and if you want to optimize, as soon as one creative starts to pull away in terms of response rates, we'll automatically allocate a higher percentage of the buy to those banners for the rest of the campaign. So A/B is definitely something we do and recommend.
Okay, good. We're starting to get a bunch of questions, and I see we're at the top of the hour. I do want to tell everyone here that we will follow up with these questions after the webinar, and we'll send you an email and let you know when the questions and answers are posted. There was a message a couple back that I wanted to ask because it sort of relates to targeted web ads.
Okay, I think
how do you target regionally or a geographic region with our targeted web ad product?
We certainly can serve web ads, display ads to specific educators, specific geographic regions. We have the ability to get very precise with geographic targeting down to DMAs or states. Certainly. The one thing that you have to consider with banner advertising, this is not, our is we have educators specifically tagged, both home and school machines. So, you can't get too finite or you're not going to really have a whole lot of educators or persons to serve because we're only serving to identified educators. If you have some other properties or you're buying search keywords or things of that nature where if you're going out to get, there's only 1,000 or 3,000 educators in the country that do that, but you're buying hundreds of thousands of impressions, where you pretty much assume most of those are not educators making those impressions. So if you're buying run of site or you're buying on properties that you may have to get at it that way to get to your geos, but with our product you can specify the educators you want, and then you can cut it down by geos. But every cut you make is going to limit the amount of available impressions. That having been said, all those impressions are 100% served to the group you want. So there's nothing wasted in terms of the branding and other advertising attributes such as recall, awareness, etc.
Okay, great. We have a bunch of great questions that have come in now, but we're out of time. I do want to remind you we will follow up and send out a list of those questions with answers after the session. So for now, I just want to thank so much everyone on the phone today and our team of experts who were presenting. There's a lot of opportunity here, and it's nice to know that you all are available to the customers on the line to talk through some of these ideas in more detail. So I'd like to thank you and thank everyone for being on the phone. We'll be bringing you more value-added webinars on sales strategies, funding, more marketing best practices in the coming months, so make sure you visit schooldata.com and watch your email for more invitations. Final note, we will send a feedback survey, and we'd really appreciate hearing from you what you'd like to hear from us on future topics and how this session went. So that wraps it for today. Thank you very much, and have a great day.